Trending is brought to you by the Bahamas Adventist Book and Nutrition Center, located on Tonic Williams Darling Highway.
Hey there, and welcome to Young and Trending here on Word SBC 88.3 FM, where we aim to be bold, be true, and be heard. I'm Pastor Nasa.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we got a special show for you guys to train a child. To train a child. I know there's a lot of parents, perhaps, who's out there. They're wondering, oh, yeah, you're going to set my children straight. And then you got a lot of children out there who's saying, boy, what they going to tell my parents now? You're going to be surprised to see the angle we take it from. Because today, we have a special guest all the way from the East. You know, he literally spent some time in the eastern part of the world, right? But he grew up in East Nassau East. But tell the audience, man, who you are. Who's in the studio with us today?
My name is Marcus Aurelius Higgs. Grew up, Nassau East. Went to BA, right?
All right. Hey, BA in the house.
With the stars.
School for me.
With the stars. And then did some time at Kingsway, and then went to COB, went to Oakwood, went off as a missionary teacher in South Korea, served there as a teacher. And then after serving there, stopped serving as a missionary, but continued serving as a teacher.
Right, got you. Right.
Because I love words, and did my teacher training, went out to Thailand, then Saudi Arabia. That was interesting, right?
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, further
the East, bro.
Say the East. Now it's the Middle East.
The Middle East, right?
Yeah. And then came back to Thailand. Then I went to Spain. That's Europe. Taught out there, and then went back to Thailand because Thailand's a beautiful place. Just love it.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
So you can imagine you can live it soon.
I
Hold the vision.
Hold that. Amen.
Hold the vision. And then I'm back, man. Back with pops and mom, and then family around the table.
Hey.
You know,
All around.
All around, that's right.
all around.
Real family, yeah, that's true.
You say I'm from the East. I'm from Nassau East. Remember that. Remember that.
All right, well, welcome, Marcus, man. Glad to have you in the house. And so we want to talk today, to train a child. And Marcus is what is called a presence coach. Yeah. And he is someone who works with parents with helping them to deal with the transition when children start to grow from just being up under mommy and daddy to starting to branch out and form their own identity as all of these cognitive sparks are firing in their brains and they're starting to grab a hold of what would become their personality. He is someone who is specialized to help us to understand what that looks like. So let's get into the conversation. Give us a little bit more, clarity on what it is that you do. Like, help us, because we say to train a child, and they say it in church all the time, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's found in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. But we don't really get into the nitty-gritty. What does that mean? Right? Some parents just say it to us, whip their child into shape, but how do you get them into shape in a practical and the reason why
healthy way.
In healthy way. And the reason why I'm, a little excited, a little animated is because right now, no, seriously, on a serious note, right now in our country, we are suffering some serious disturbances because of young people who seem to be going awry, no direction, chaos is happening. And so a lot of people are saying, hey, this is rooted in the family. So where is the training? What happened with their development? So help us to understand a little bit what is that you do, and then, we can go into it a little bit more.
Sure.
Apply to all that.
As you said, Pastor Nasa, how you want me to call you? Because
Pastor Nasa. Hey.
Yeah. I'm a presence coach. I mean, I'm a certified heroic coach. And when I say presence coach, parents want to show up for their kids, right? There's this book by a man named Gabor Mate who says, hold your child close, right? And if a child is growing up, they're soaking in the world. They're taking it all in. Their brain is like a sponge, right? And you're holding them close and you're looking at them and you're saying, you're worthy, you're beautiful, you're nurtured here. The 4 S's: you're safe, you're seen, you're secure, and you're soothed. We can go on that to deeper later.
Yeah, we need to.
Yes.
That sound like some powerful stuff.
Yes.
You have to touch on that.
That's from Dan Siegel. This is how actually human development happens.
Okay.
Because when you know that you're safe, there's no terror around. When you know that you're seen, meaning your existence, you're here and you're adding value, you're witnessed and you're appreciated. And then when you know that when you're broken and you can be put back together, you feel more secure. You feel like you can take more risk, right?
Right.
Now you do that, and then around 12 years old, you start to come into an understanding that you have your own identity, right? Ideally, you're with your primary caregivers, your parents, your guardians. They're taking care of you, and you're in the society and community growing up. Kids start to get skeptical around 14. And when I say skeptical, that is to start to say, hey, wait. Everything my parents are saying is not necessarily true.
Right.
They don't know nuance yet, right?
Right.
Right?
That's what's going on. Hey.
And there's a way to actually, I say mitigate, but like to talk to your child and connect with your child and let them understand the story of what's going to happen to them. And when you understand a story going forward, you can be more at peace with it.
Okay.
So, how can I put this? There's this thing called narrative theory, but when you're going through something and it doesn't make sense to you, that's one definition of craziness. It's when your reality on the outside doesn't match the reality on the inside.
Crazy people
Right?
walking around the place. No,
Hey.
yeah, but
Well, the
There's
thing
hope,
is,
though. There's hope.
no, well, check this out, right? It's when you're a preteen, when you're entering adolescence. Adolescence is a time from about 13 to mid 20s.
okay.
There's
Really?
there's biologically, biologically,
Adolescent.
True.
and it's because you're. It's because your brain is still developing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what's
Praise
unique
the
about
Lord.
what's unique about this developmental phase is this is where your brain starts pruning. And if you know pruning, that's when you're cutting away parts. You're cutting away parts that you're not necessarily using, and you're redirecting that energy to other parts for you to double down on.
That's why I had struggling so hard in Mott's, man. I was going to work in a field where Mott's was not going to be the highest priority, and man, I wondered why I do summer school for Mott's. But anyway, that makes so much sense.
Check it out, right? When you're specializing in these different fields, like you're literally losing your brain, you're losing your mind, right? But then, oftentimes, kids at this age, when they start to see problems, they look to themselves because they have been the main character in their story their whole time, right? They start to think, what's wrong with me?
I've asked that question before.
And if you're asking what's wrong with me in this situation where you're being challenged and there's not an adult in your life, there's not your parent in your life to see you, to help you and support you through that, you start to have that narrative in your head, something's wrong with me.
It's making
Yes.
so much
Right?
sense.
And when you look at the inner space of something's wrong with me, the outer space is like, I can't trust this world. I don't know. I can't. What's wrong with the world? And all of this is not making sense, right? This is why teenage years and adolescence years are so tumultuous or so troublesome.
This hitting on so many levels. Go ahead.
You good.
That is something so formative because, like you said, if you don't have somebody there, and mind you, your parent could be present in your life, but if they're not a positive reinforcement that there's nothing wrong with you, because normally the ramifications of that are the actions that your child is showing, the parents are going to turn around and be like, something is wrong with you. Tighten up. Fix that. Like, why are you acting like that? And that's such a negative reinforcement.
Right.
Hey.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought this up, Tyler, in that you can have somebody who is present They put a roof over your head. They make sure you're fed.
Oh,
Yes.
gosh.
Right? And what we say is they're emotionally absent.
Yes.
Now, mind you, to have some grace for some people, you can't give what you didn't receive.
Yes.
See,
Right? So, and we're in this day and age where we have access to more information,
We do.
and the point specifically is emotional maturity. And what that is being able to recognize your emotions, to because emotions, they do 5 things, but majorly they're telling you your understanding, your subjective understanding of the world. They're telling you what motivates you, like what you want to work towards and what you're got. So if you're not in tune with your emotions here in the inner space, for those on radio, I'm pointing at myself, you don't know how to tune and attune with other people in society it's to align with their emotions.
It's emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence by Goldman. Yes. But then if a parent can't do that during this time, they can't train a
Mercy.
child in that regard.
I was coming right there. Oh man.
Right?
I was coming right there. Oh man. That's no. This is hitting on so many. We'll finish it.
You good. And what I do as a presence coach is, I did work with teenagers in that age group. I've worked with all ages in life development as a teacher, right? But parents need support. So I don't necessarily work with the child, but I help the parent to say, look, this is how you navigate this time. There are 3 steps in the framework that I follow. But then I say I work with the parent to be present with themselves, because as you start to sort your stuff out, when we say integrated, you're contagious, and that's how you approach your child, and you understand, because then your child starts to mirror how you are.
Get cues from you.
They take their cues from you. First thing is you set the expectation and you model it. You have to model that expectation.
Oh gosh.
And then you give them practice, and then freer practice.
This is some powerful stuff, man. No, seriously, man. To train a child, many times these are some absent components, right? Like it's so common to hear parents, they'll talk about, oh, I put a roof over your head, I make sure you have shoes on your feet.
Yes, I did
and food.
everything
I
for
did
you.
everything for you, but
And they
yet
weren't there, right.
there is this vital component that is lacking to some degree. And like you said, to be fair, they may not even be aware that this is lacking, because they themselves perhaps didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like this real emotional awareness and intelligence to be able to see this is the place where my child is at. And at this stage, they need something different from this stage, right? Before, the baby only used to cry because they were hungry or they needed to be changed. But now at 13, 14, they're at a place where they don't need you to change them anymore. But emotionally, they need you to change your approach to their understanding and expressions because of how they're experiencing life. And I'm just so blown away to see the connections to a lot of the crime that we see going on is by young people who perhaps didn't get this emotional support. And so now they are acting out because that has been conditioned in them to respond in a way that hasn't been trained or nurtured or received, so that it could, that energy, that focus could be done in a healthy way, could be manifested. Oh man, this is some.
I have an idea on that, but let's go, Tyler.
Because
she's right here.
It's so many things is popping up because of all of this now.
Yeah, man.
I love this topic. I really like to talk about like the sociological aspect of like kids and like the whole 9 yards.
Talk to me.
I think something too is not just recognizing as a parent like your emotions, but seeing value in being able to showcase that to your child, like that this is a child worthy of respect, this is a child worthy of me maybe even apologizing to them, this is a child worthy of being talked to, like they can understand what I'm saying and that their feelings are valid.
Witnessed
all of
and
these different
appreciated.
stuff, right? That they're seen and appreciated, because in our society that there's that like disconnect, like as a child you should just obey what I say,
right?
and so you're not like really seen as a whole person that is, I don't want to say is worthy of all this effort, because of course parents love their kids, But we've seen and I say this very loosely, do not quote me, but in generations past where that type of relationship, it wasn't really the norm. And so now we come with all our nice unpacking and,
Well, two thoughts on this. First is the first is the word parent means to bring forth, right? Or the word develop. D means from, and envelop is like envelope, but it means to unfold. So you have to believe something is there to begin with that I'm going to develop or I'm going to bring forth, right? So it's not necessarily something I'm putting in there, but rather something that's going to emerge, right? The second thing I want to point out is that, and I wholeheartedly believe this, we say it about, I'm going to say it about kids, and then I'm going to direct it to parents. There's the idea that kids will do good. Let me say how I'm going to say this. Kids will do well if they can do well, right? And what I mean by that is oftentimes they lack skill or they lack support. They just don't know how to do it, or they don't feel they can do it because they don't have the support there.
So I'm going to push them to say, hey.
Yes.
Like you enter a space, you want to show up well.
Right.
Like you want to do well, but oftentimes we really don't know. We just don't know. Or we don't feel we're supported in making that attempt or making that risk.
But doubt comes in.
Right? When we see people, quote unquote, acting up, it's because, one, they don't know how to, but it's serving their needs. Sometimes their needs are to get attention, or their needs are fulfilled in something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, let me bring it back to parents. That's why I said I'm gracious towards parents. There's no judgment. There's because you know what? For the most part, in the heart of hearts, people want the next generation to do well. You want other people to do well, and that's a issue of society. I think other people matter because it takes a village to support a parent who's going to raise a child. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And oftentimes parents, they're not able to show up because they don't know or they don't feel supported.
That's up, man. That's a
cycle.
No, real talk, real. And you said it earlier. They can't give what they don't have.
Sure.
Right,
Sure.
and so if they don't know how to, if they never received that support or they were never taught to develop that skill, then now they're in a position they don't know how to do it either, or they struggle to do it as well. And we can see the cycles continuing. And it's interesting, because then we see, or we hear the saying that goes, the generations, they're getting weaker and weaker, and they can't, put up and be as resilient with life like other generations did. But then who's the ones raising the generations?
Man, I hear you.
I'm not trying to.
Talk to me.
I'm not just trying to like knock them, because I honestly believe you when you said that, and I agree that a lot of times they want best. They want what's good.
Sure.
Like they give their children so much at times because they didn't have it, right? Because in their minds they want better for their children.
Yeah.
But then, as we're talking about, this is something that is still vital. That although you could have good intentions, if this thing is still missing or lacking, it's still going to have results.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say this, right? In my approach to living, no shame and no blame and no complaining.
Yeah. I ain't trying to
right?
blame.
So I could say the cause of this maybe was this, but the responsibility to fix it is mine. That's why I do the work I do. I mean, I know your mommy, you know my daddy, right? And when I say no blaming, we could say, I understand why this is what it is.
That's all it is.
But the work
still needs
is
to be
everybody's individual work. Sister K over there, Tyler over here, Manasa here, me, Marcus. It's my personal work to do. And I collaborate with you. I ask if you could support and help me in that. But I know the work that I need to do for my development.
But that comes from self-awareness.
I was going to come to that now.
Yeah, it does.
Because
it does.
How do we? So I guess because we have to keep moving it on. How? No. Seriously, we always running out of time. So we trying to.
This is about human development.
Yeah.
But I work with a particular group of people. But this is because something. Sorry.
No.
You were talking about resilience. Everybody has
the capacity.
Everybody is growing, right?
I can believe that, yeah.
And everything that eventually grows must first break. That's what that's something I say. You see a seed, you don't get mad at a seed because it's a seed, because it has to break its shell, it has to break the soil, it comes up into a sapling, and every time it's expanding, it's breaking its outer shell from the inside, it's breaking, right?
Okay.
My point being, a lot of the mental health illness issues that are going on, I believe, is because we are avoiding resistance.
Avoiding resistance.
I mean, we just came from working out.
Yeah.
The reason we work out is because our muscles break down.
Yeah.
Then we rest, and then they're made stronger in the broken places.
Right.
You were talking about apologizing or not admitting, but owning your actions whenever you fail to do something or fail to meet your word. That's a big component in human relationships. Whenever there's a rupture or whenever I've wronged you,
there needs to be a repair.
I need to say, and you know what? It's coming from a place of saying, this is how I acted. This is not in alignment with who I know I am. This is my promise going forward of how I'm going to deal with it. And what that does, it says you are worthy of me acting in your highest regard, of me lifting you up.
And in your best interest.
And I'm taking care of me that I might serve you. And you're taking care of you that you might serve me. And that's not a selfish thing. But like I said, each of us individually have to do the work. But when we're like that and we're in a community, that's how the community is integrated. That's how the community has integrity.
So what I wanted to ask then, as I was talking about moving it along, was to ask you, as a presence coach, what kind of things do you do to help someone develop that awareness so that this kind of work can begin to take place? Like what are some of the things that you do practically? Because like I agree with you, the responsibility is on me. I'm a sovereign individual, so I have to take responsibility for myself despite whatever happened in my life or whatever. So what kind of things do you do or could be done for someone who may be listening to say, I want to be more aware?
Is this tailored towards parents?
The person, whoever.
It's tailored towards human development.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever's conscious enough.
For real.
Yeah.
So we always act from a place of our identity. There's this survey called Virtues in Action, and what it is now I know there's a faith-based organization, radio show, and so on. What Virtues in Action is, it looked at contemporary psychology, contemporary religions, and it looked at ancient religions and different societies and cultures. But there are 24 characteristics that are found in all of these things that all of them say are value. For me, you can look at my laptop right now. I have fairness, fairness, hope, gratitude, perspective. There's a free online test which you can take that says you are strong in these areas. Now, for me, I believe these are the characteristics of the divine that are, I'm strong in these, or I express these most, and when I use them, I'm acting from this space of my identity. You know what I mean? Now, that's me having self-awareness or inner awareness, as you were saying.
Right.
When I interact with Manasa, with Tyler, with Kenesha, I'm looking for what character strengths you have. And I honestly believe that's the divine in me looking for the divine in you. I actually look for the good in other people, and I meet them on that. I witness and I appreciate you. I make sure you're seen. You know what I mean? So first it starts with the inner place here. I know this about me, and I'm seeking to bring that out inside you. Okay. I'm trying to literally develop that in you. And when I said I geared towards parents, this is geared towards human development.
Okay.
Right? That's the first one. Second thing is, first is your virtues in action. The second thing is, this is geared towards parents. Collaborative problem solving. There's actually a framework. Remember,
a big one.
Village again.
Hey, watch it now. You remember when we said kids look at themselves and say, what's wrong with me?
Right.
What's the problem? Collaborative problem solving is when you stand next to a kid, you already have their trust and everything, and you say, you know what? This is what's happening to you, and it seems as though you have a problem here. Tell me about this problem and tell me what you think a solution is. So now we're taking the awareness off of them and we're directing it at the problem. You're not the problem. And I'm here to support you to walk through to the solution. Right? And collaborative problem solving, it's a whole framework. You could look it up online. When you're walking through that, the kid then feels supported of, oh yeah, I can trust my bounce back or my resilience. I can trust I'm in a society that's going to keep me, that's looking out for me. You know? After collaborative problem solving, and when I say collaborative problem solving, problem solving, that's what we do in communities. That's all businesses. Business is saying, making a promise to somebody to help them solve their problem, and then there's an exchange for it. Problem solving, that's what we do as humans. But the third thing is, and this is why for parents speaking to kids, it's storytelling. Storytelling is the first language that we learn. And all that happens in a story is change happens, and we give it meaning. This change is happening in this kid, and the thing is, hey, I'm going to tell you the story because this is just like stories of past, and I trust you to go forward and write this great story. And I'm going to share my story of when I was inside your shoes, how I was going through it, and people in the community are going to share their stories. But that it's through those 3 steps that I particularly work with to help parents be present with themselves so they could show up for their kids.
Man, this is awesome stuff, man.
I love that.
This reminds me of this passage in Matthew chapter 19,
Hey,
verse
talk to me,
14.
Talk to me.
Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not forbid them, for of such is the kingdom of heaven." You know, Jesus loved children, and he highlighted their importance. And we see Jesus saw the children. And I love those 4 S's that you shared earlier. They need to be seen. They need to feel secure. They need to be soothed. And they need to, the last one now.
Safe.
So
the first is
right.
Safe, seen, soothed, and all of that creates security.
And Jesus provided all of that as our model. And so for any parent out there, you could follow the model of Jesus. You can work with your children. You can do your part to train them. And trust me, we could see some amazing things happen.
Yeah, so Marcus, thank you so much for
Tyler.
joining us today. That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey.
Great,
you're a great
name.
man.
Is there a way we could get in contact
Yes.
with you?
Yes.
Your socials or something you could drop for us?
If you want to know more about what I have to offer, or what I'm into, and what I'm doing, I'm on Facebook. That's the easiest way to contact me. Or just go to marcushiggs.com.
Okay.
You'll find more details about me there.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. And if you want to find us here at Young and Trending, we're here on Word SBC 88.3 FM every Tuesday from 6 to 6:30. We have reruns on Wednesdays and Fridays from 3:30 to 4. We're also on social media, Facebook and Instagram at SBC Media Network, where you can watch our episodes. And now, more recently, we're on YouTube at South Bahamas Conference. Is it South Bahamas Conference?
South Bahamas Conference.
Yes, South Bahamas Conference, where you also can watch our shows. I had someone this week tell me, oh, I didn't get to listen to the episode. I'm like, go online. It's there. I promise you. But that's all for today. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Pastor Nasa.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Young and Trending was brought to you by the Bahamas Adventist Book and Nutrition Center, located on Tonic Williams Darling Highway.